Central government amends the public procurement financial rules. The companies from the country sharing the land border with India can bid only if registered with a competent authority. The amendment enables imposition of restrictions on such companies in the interest of national security. Finance Minister approves 8,767 crore rupees for 81 stalled housing projects, also reviews the capital expenditure scheme of the central public sector undertakings. The capital expenditure plan to accelerate economy amid the challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. Tensions mount between the US and China. Mike Pompeo takes a fresh aim at China, says securing the US freedom from the Chinese Communist Party is mission of the time and America was perfectly positioned to lead it. The Asian markets to fall on China's vow to retaliate against the US. More than 7,82,000 cured from COVID-19 in the country so far. The recovery rate crosses 63%. The active cases over 4,26,000. The worldwide corona cases at 1 crore 56 lakh. The WHO says US, Brazil and India can deal with the pandemic. The flood situation in Assam and Bihar remain worrisome. The water level in some rivers still above the danger mark. The Assam governor carries out an aerial survey of the worst affected areas, tells the administration to give up all help to the affected. And in sports news, England and West Indies will be fighting it out in the series decider at Old Trafford in the third test starting today. England to decide whether to recall Jofra Archer for the decisive test. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. Our top story: the government has amended the General Financial Rules 2017 to enable the imposition of restrictions on bidders from the countries which share the land border with India. A statement released by the Union Finance Ministry said that the Department of Expenditure had, under the said rules, issued a detailed order on the public procurement to strengthen the defence and the national security of India. Now, as per the order, any bidder from such countries will be eligible to bid in any procurement, whether of goods, services or works, only if the bidder is registered with the competent authority. The restrictions on the public procurement from such countries can be imposed for reasons of national security and other factors directly or indirectly related to the country's defense. The new provisions will apply to all the new tenders. And in respect of the tenders already invited, if the first stage of evaluation of the qualification has not been completed, the bidders who are not registered under the new order will be treated as not qualified. Now, if this stage has been crossed, ordinarily the tenders will be cancelled and the process started de novo. The order will also apply to other forms of public procurement. Relaxation has been provided in certain limited cases, including for procurement of the medical supplies for containment of the COVID-19 pandemic till 31st December this year. And by a separate order, the countries to which the Government of India extends the lines of credit or provides development assistance have been exempted from the requirement of the prior registration. So let's go across now to correspondent Ajay Mishra to understand this better. Ajay, an important amendment has been made in the public finance rule there, with the national security clearly being paramount. A lot of importance now being given to national security through this amendment.
It's very important from the point of view that there is no threat to the national security when it comes to investment into certain projects, and it has been clearly mentioned in the new order that these services or these manufacturing or the turnkey investment in any kind of infrastructure project, any fresh investment from the neighboring countries which shares the land boundary with India has to be first registered with the central government. It means that in all the public procurement, including those from state governments and the CPSEs, the investment from China and Pakistan will have to be first registered with the central government and get a political clearance from Minister of Home Affairs and also clearance from Minister of External Affairs. So it will be a very tough task for the Chinese investors to actually take any kind of stake in any companies or take part in any kind of new manufacturing infrastructure or services contracts going forward. It is also mentioned that if any of the investment has been done or the bids have been invited and it has not cleared the first stage of completion, it will be automatically cancelled unless the entities are going to register with the government of India. And very importantly, Nancy, any kind of subcontract has not been allowed so far. So if anyone wants to take the services of a Chinese company, for example, in form of subcontracting, that will also not be allowed. So in a sense, it's very measures for investment from China, and it has been the decision has been taken in the view that in this kind of crisis, in this time of a pandemic, there is no strategic and a hostile takeover of any companies in this situation.
All right. All right, Ajay Mishra, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and putting these developments into perspective for us. Thanks very much for the moment, though. Moving on now, the External Affairs Ministry has said that respecting and strictly abiding by the LAC is the basis of peace and tranquility in the border areas. Briefing the media in New Delhi, the External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said that the several agreements concluded by India and China since 1993 firmly acknowledge that. His remarks came 2 days after the U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper described the Chinese military's aggressive activities in the region as destabilizing. India has also said that it is sharing its views with many nations.
We are engaged on the issue of peace and tranquility on our borders with China. We are talking to them through established diplomatic and military channels. Now, since India and China are both permanent countries, there is this issue has attracted interest all over the world. What I can say is that as part of our diplomacy, we are engaged with those interested to convey our viewpoint.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reviewed the performance of the special window for affordable and mid-income housing with the secretaries of the Ministries of Finance and the senior fund management team focused on speedy efforts to complete construction of the projects for which the last mile funding has been sanctioned. The government-backed fund for stressed housing projects has approved investments worth 8,767 crore rupees in 81 projects. In the review meeting with the finance minister, the fund managers informed that among the 81 projects, investments in 18 have received final clearance. The approved fund will enable the completion of almost 60,000 homes across India. Moving on now, India on Thursday said that Pakistan has once again exposed its farcical approach by denying available legal remedies to Kulbhushan Jadhav against his death sentence, which is also in contravention of the ICJ verdict, and asserted that it will explore further options in the case.
What appears is that Pakistan's actions with regard to the ordinance, the whole exercise of not providing documents as requested by us, of not providing unhindered, unimpeded and unconditional consular access, as well as some of the reported unilateral action of recently approaching the High Court, all of it again exposes the complete farcical nature of Pakistan's approach. Pakistan has blocked all avenues for an effective remedy available to India. Now, Pakistan stands not only in violation of the judgment of the ICJ, but its own ordinance. And in this light, India reserves its position in the matter, including its right to avail of further remedies.
Let's now take a look at the COVID-19 impact in India. Over 7.8 lakh COVID patients have recovered so far. The cumulative figure of recovered cases among the COVID-19 patients is 7,82,606 as on date. The recovery rate has also improved to 63.18%. Medical attention is being provided to all the 4,26,167 active cases in hospitals and home isolation. The case fertility rate in the country now stands at 2.41%. Remember, India has one of the lowest case fertility rates in the world, but 29,861 patients have died due to COVID so far. In Bhopal, the 10-day lockdown will begin from tonight at 8 and will remain in force until 5 in the morning on the 4th of August. All the commercial establishments except special services will remain closed. The supply of vegetables and milk and essential services will remain open along with the industries. Medical services, the government ration shops will also remain open during the lockdown period. But schools, coaching, gym, auditorium, hotels, restaurants, parks, swimming pools and shopping malls will remain closed in the city. There will also be a ban on any kind of function or gathering in Bhopal, and all the religious places will also be completely closed during the 10-day lockdown. The transport services are also to be completely suspended during the lockdown. However, movement outside the city will remain prohibited and e-passes will be required for any movement. All the state and the central government offices will function with the necessary capacity. Government has also given a relief to the industries by allowing economic activities to run in the lockdown. But Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has urged people to follow all the rules during the lockdown period. And the guidelines clearly state that strict action will be taken against those who do not follow social distancing, do not wear masks or break the rules of the lockdown. And let's now go across to our correspondent Aditya Shrivastava, who is joining us from Bhopal to give us a sense of the 10-day total lockdown in Bhopal that will begin from 8 tonight till 5 in the morning on the 4th of August. Aditya, this of course the decision being taken after Bhopal witnessing an alarming rise in the COVID-19 cases. Now 10-day total lockdown to be imposed from today.
Yes, Nancy, if we talk about this lockdown will be same as we see earlier in all over the country. But in this time, the government of Madhya Pradesh did not want to stop economic activities in city. That's why the industrial sector get relief in this lockdown. Those people who are working on those industries, they kept valid identity proof if someone wants to them. But yes, those essential activities which are required for any common people, that as we know that the medical facilities or food, milk, fruits, vegetables, all essential activities will be run by the local administration in Bhopal. As we see, the government also declared before 2 days for the 10 days lockdown. That's why the people of Bhopal are arranging all the necessary items in these 2 days. That's why after 10 days, we can say the government wants to stop the number of coronavirus in the city, because the recovery rate is very high, very low, but the active cases is around 1,300 to 1,400. But in this lockdown, all the activities will remain closed, like banks, swimming pools, and just like education institutes, schools, coachings. So we can say this lockdown will be strict lockdown. Those people who are obey this lockdown, the local administration will take strict action against them.
Okay.
And those people who are not following SOPs like social distancing, not wearing mask, the local administration, local police will punish them and charge very high.
All right, Aditya Shrivastava, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing those inputs as far as the 10-day total lockdown that will come into force in Bhopal from 8 tonight will continue till 5 in the morning on the 4th of August to battle the alarming cases that have been reported of COVID-19 there in Bhopal. Thanks very much. And staying with news from Madhya Pradesh, the state government has given relief to 36,86,000 poor beneficiaries who were deprived of ration during the corona crisis. Now, these are the beneficiaries of those 25 categories who were not getting the ration because they do not have the eligibility slip. The Chief Minister, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, has said that an eligibility slip will be issued to all of them. The process will take 1 month and ration will be made available to all the people from next month onwards. The Chief Minister has also said that the government has made arrangements to provide ration to the migrant laborers as well.
ऐसे सभी परिवारों को जो गरीब थे, कोरोना महामारी के संकट के समय हमने राशन देने की व्यवस्था की। 25 अलग-अलग श्रेणियां बनाकर भी जिनको राशन नहीं मिलता था उनको राशन दिए 25 श्रेणियों के लोगों को। ऐसे सभी 36,86,000 हितग्राहियों को पात्रता पर्ची प्रदान की जाएगी और अगले महीने से इन सबको राशन वितरण प्रारंभ किया जाएगा।
The World Health Organization has said that the US, Brazil and India, which are all suffering fast rises in the COVID-19 cases, can still get on top of the pandemic. The WHO said that these countries are powerful, able, democratic countries who have tremendous internal capacities to deal with the virus. And that was said by Dr. Mike Ryan, the head of the WHO Emergencies Committee, told a Geneva briefing. The World Health Organization chief has in fact also said, rejecting as false an allegation by the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, questioning his independence and that he owed his position to a deal with China. The WHO chief has come under criticism, especially from the US President Donald Trump and Mike Pompeo, who have accused him of being pro-China. Responding to a question at a Geneva briefing about remarks by Mike Pompeo questioning his independence, he said that the comments are untrue and unacceptable and without any foundation. Clarifying further, the WHO chief also said that the sole focus of the entire organization is on saving lives and that WHO will not be distracted by such comments. And let's now take a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The COVID-19 virus has claimed the lives of over 6.36 lakh people worldwide, while more than 1.56 crore people have contracted the infection so far. The US and Brazil still remain the worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. The US has so far recorded over 41.69 lakh cases and over 1.47 lakh deaths, while Brazil has recorded over 22.89 lakh infections and over 84,000 deaths. And looking at the death toll worldwide, US and Brazil are followed by the UK with over 45,500 fatalities, further followed by Mexico, Italy and France. In some other news now, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has taken a fresh aim at China on Thursday and said that the US and its allies must use more creative and assertive ways to press the Chinese Communist Party to change its ways. In a major speech delivered after Washington's surprise order this week for China to close its Houston consulate, Mike Pompeo said that securing our freedom from the Chinese Communist Party is the mission of our time and that America was perfectly positioned to lead it.
We, the freedom-loving nations of the world, must induce China to change, just as President Nixon wanted. We must induce China to change in more creative and assertive ways because Beijing's actions threaten our people and our prosperity. Securing our freedoms from the Chinese Communist Party is the mission of our time, and America is perfectly positioned to lead it because our founding principles give us that opportunity.
Taking a look now once again on the news from back home and the flood situation in Assam, which has worsened as 4 more lives have been lost due to floods in the last 24 hours, taking the death toll to 93. Over 28 lakh people are affected due to floods in the state. And with the continuous downpour, River Brahmaputra in Jorhat, Sonitpur, Guwahati, Golpara, Dhubri districts are still flowing above the danger mark. Around 2,600 villages under 74 revenue circles in 26 districts, along with above 1.19 lakh hectares of cropland are submerged, as according to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority report on Thursday. At present, more than 47,000 inmates are taking shelter at 286 relief camps across the state. The Assam Governor, Professor Jagdish Mukhi, had yesterday conducted an aerial survey of the flood-affected districts and gave directions to the administration to press in all the services to provide support to those affected.
मुझे देखकर बहुत ही आश्चर्य हुआ है। अधिकांश ज़मीन जो है पानी के अंतर्गत आ चुकी है और अनेक घरों के अंदर 3, 4, 5 फुट तक पानी पहुंच गया है। मैंने प्रशासन को हिदायत दी है कि वो तुरंत जो राहत की सामग्री है हर एक व्यक्ति तक शीघ्र पहुंचाने का काम करें और साथ ही जो उनके मवेशी हैं उनको भी प्रोटेक्ट करने की व्यवस्था करें। हर वर्ष इसके समाधान दिए जाते हैं, हेल्प की जाती है, किंतु लगता है एक परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन की आवश्यकता है। इस निमित्त मैं केंद्र सरकार से रिकमेंड करूंगा कि इस समस्या का एक स्थायी समाधान देने की प्रयास करें।
And let's now go across to our correspondent Mridu Smita, who is joining us from Guwahati. Mridu Smita, we just heard the Assam governor there talking of looking at a permanent solution to these flood situation that takes place in Assam almost every year. And you know, this time around the situation there again serious and grim, and once again compounded by a heavy spell of rain. And you know what's even more worrying is the fact that most rivers in the state are now continuing to be in spate and flowing above the danger mark. So clearly, what more measures are being put in place to deal with this challenging situation?
Yes, definitely, Nancy. Since Brahmaputra River, which has a lot of tributaries along, and which flows right now they are flowing above the danger level mark, and because of which the flood, and since this is the third wave of flood in fact in Assam, and because of which more and more people are affected, and year after year this situation is growing day by day, and every year more and more people are affected, more and more cropland area are affected, and embankments which are damaged because of the flowing Brahmaputra River, which is a vast river, and day by day the source of the river it is increasing, level is also increasing. Yes, definitely, as according to the government stamp, what that there should be a solution to this, and especially if embankments which are damaged, if there is a permit repairing the construction of them are done properly, this might improve the situation further. However, since the Met Department have also predicted in the next days, starting from 26th, there will be a heavy downpour and heavy rainfall is predicted, and situation might get worsened. However, yesterday, in fact, the forest minister.
All right, Mridu Smita. All right, Mridu Smita, we are falling short of time. I'm really sorry for interrupting you here, but we'll come back to you in our subsequent bulletins and keep getting more inputs as far as the flood situation in Assam is concerned. But we have to move on now. We're moving on now to sports news in cricket. It's showtime for England and West Indies as they get ready for the third and the final match of the Test series at the Old Trafford in Manchester. The three-match series has so far been an enthralling encounter between the two sides, with both winning one game each. Now, with the series firmly locked at 1-1, the finale promises to be an edge of the set contest. West Indies began the series with a 4-wicket win against England in Southampton, with the visitors standing out with both ball and the willow. However, England fought back strong in the second test and equalized the series with a thumping 113-run win. England must decide whether to recall Jofra Archer for the decisive test after the fast bowler suffered online racist abuse. Archer is available after missing England's series levelling win at the same ground following a breach of the COVID-19 protocols. So now it all comes down to the third test. The Caribbean team has not been unable to win a series in England for the last 32 long years. The last won the trophy in England in 1988. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news.